Well, welcome back, everyone, to another exciting and altogether too short podcast of Parallel Barkings, where dad and daughter bark at each other. We've been forbidden from growling or biting each other, so all we can do is bark in parallel about all kinds of things that drive us crazy, mostly because we can't agree on any of this. Larry Backer and
Ariana Backer. Yeah, the biting thing is mostly because we don't know what kind of rabies Dad
you used to
has.
buy, well, shit, but we know what kind of rabies you had.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
kind.
The bad kind, the bad kind.
Bad
Right.
kind, because there is
So
a
anyway,
good kind of rabies.
So welcome back. Ariana is going to lead us off today. We're going to talk about cursed movies. And the reason for this is we want to start with Rust. And no, it's not too early to talk about it. We are not talking about the shooting per se, nor the litigation around it, but we're talking about what makes a movie cursed. And what brought this up was not the shooting, as tragic as it was, but the latest news, which is one of the workers who is charged with shutting the set down was apparently bitten by a brown recluse spider, suffered a horrible reaction to it, and now may be in danger of losing an arm. And so that got us to thinking, wow, is this a cursed movie? And then it got us to thinking, well, you know, there are lots of movies that are cursed, so it might be interesting to talk about what makes a movie cursed and then maybe what cursing means. And if we were live, I'd be doing what the Italians would know very well as the maledetta. And I know I'm saying it wrong, so forgive me, Italian speakers. The curse. And
He was doing it. If you all could see him, he was doing it.
Right, which reminds me of the opening scene of Rigoletto, but that's a different podcast. All right, talk to me about cursed movies.
All I know is through hearsay. I don't research these things. I know a few. It just things go bad, and
This
and
is a
then
podcast. The whole point is to talk about things you haven't researched.
So great. Let's talk about it. I know The Crow. We mentioned this a little bit earlier. Isn't this Bruce Lee's son? It wasn't the star of the movie.
Yeah,
yes.
So. Yeah. So what makes a
movie
movie
from? Wait. For those who don't know, he died from another gunshot wound accidentally. But you know, how? And what? How we? And another one.
You don't want the stupid answer to that question, right?
I do. Give me the stupid answer, because
the gun goes off.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Give us another example, because you had some good ones.
Well, no, you know, there are all kinds of websites that talk about cursed movies, and of course, it's all defined by whoever it is who's writing these lurid. It used to be on in newspapers and other hard media, or was it print media, but now it's all over the internet. And so someone will get together. And so I was thinking maybe you and I could do our own version of a list of cursed movies. But what makes it interesting for me is there's two things that are going on. One is a bunch of people take it on themselves to take a word that seems to have a general meaning and then invest it with their own meaning. And then having invested it with their own meaning, then they root around to find things that they think match whatever meaning it is that they put on. And it sells because the word itself is like a little worm on a hook, since you think you know what it means, but it only means what it is of whoever it is who's put up this clickbait.
And the word here we're talking about is cursed?
Cursed.
Okay.
And of course, that's why I started with Rigoletto and the maledetta. It goes back to the invocation to some extent. I mean, there are all kinds of curses, all kinds of ways of cursing, but the invocation of a spirit outside of one's own body to wish someone ill, or to, by the actions of that person, to invoke the ill humor of some force, maybe even the genius of humanity, whatever it is that you believe is out there that's exogenous to you, even if it proceeds from the human, which then takes it upon itself to show you who's boss, because you have transgressed some either explicitly known no, or some implicitly known, or perhaps if you're unlucky, unknown no, or taboo, and then you get slammed. Right. The most fun curses, of course, not fun. They're all horrible, of course. The most interesting ones are where you neither know there's a taboo that you're deliberately or inadvertently breaking. You don't know that there's a taboo, but you break it anyway. The most interesting one is when you have absolutely no clue, and you don't even you in fact you reject the whole notion of the taboo, and then bad things happen. There was that great movie. It's not a great movie, but it was an interesting movie of those teenagers who decide to venture, which shows you should not venture out of the tourist areas in the Yucatan, to some hidden pyramid that was taken over by some vine that turned out to be this vine eats people, and people would go there to be sacrificed. And once you step within the temple quadrant, you slowly, it takes an hour and a half for people to be eaten.
Wait, people are eaten by a vine?
Yes, they're eaten, right, they're eaten by a vine.
Okay.
Plants got to eat too.
Okay.
But for violating some taboo. But that's a different kind of taboo. Here we're talking about sort of, this isn't cursing, or
We're talking outside of the actual story of the movie.
No. Well, maybe, but this is more like a series of coincidental clusters of bad luck.
Right. And this would make more sense if we had more examples. Like, give us an example, like what happened with The Exorcist?
Oh, there were all kinds of problems on the set. I forget what else happened there. But again, think about it this way. What happened on The Exorcist? Well, think about what you're doing. First, you are collecting a bunch of data, of facts, and then you're imposing a set of meanings on it, i.e. what happened to it, how is it connected to this object, right? The curse or the bad thing. And then to make all of this work, of course, you have to rationalize it, and you rationalize it, you give it some kind of rational meaning in an irrational way by invoking this thing, the curse or the bad luck, or something that is irrational, but that can be rationally conceived. And that way you can unify all of these clusters of unfortunate, from our vantage point, unfortunate events that then have an unintended, or again, from our perspective, a negative effect. One of my favorites, the, what's it called? The, not the miscast. Marilyn Monroe's last movies.
How would I know that?
Well, I mean, oh, that's right. You aren't quite that old, are you?
Whoa.
But what do you think of when you think of cursed movies and curse and the meaning of what does it mean to be cursed when this happens?
Well, I mean, I the obvious meaning is that anybody involved with the production will meet some sort of not terrible end, but either unfortunate circumstance or painful happening. So the examples that we gave earlier, and so it gets scary. So you get these stories, and I guess in my view, and maybe that was part of what you were saying earlier, the curse becomes the explanation. It helps you organize your thoughts and explain the world around you and what happens and why why all of these bad things just happened in
Okay, so
sequence.
you're trying to organize bad, because as you were talking, I was thinking, okay, so you got this poor guy, and I hope he pulls through without bad effect. But you got this poor guy who gets bitten by a brown recluse on cleaning up the set of Rust, and now and we're fanning the flames because it hasn't become popularly accepted yet. The movie is cursed, right? But you have
So we say, right?
right. And we have
Because
about as much right to say it as any other
a
fool
few
on the
things have
internet.
happened, so we
Right.
say, right?
Right. Any other fool on the internet, because what we're saying is, well, we're using the word curse, but what we're trying to do is rationalize these things and
Right.
then explain why these clusters of bad, which are otherwise inexplicable in terms of their coming all together,
Mhm.
work, and curse is as good as anything else. And in fact, it gives us the heebie-jeebies or whatever it is that
Yes.
one gets nowadays. So what happens if the same person was also bitten, or his clone or whatever, was bitten by a brown recluse and came close to losing an appendage on Star Wars? Right? Is Star Wars a curse movie?
Without having the same sequence of events.
Ah,
No,
so what do you need to be cursed?
I guess you have to have a certain number. We have to come up with a threshold of bad
Wait. Who's the we?
anyone who wants to
Ah,
come
so
up
why don't we
with.
do it? So why don't we do
we?
it? Right. Yeah, let's come up with a definition of curse, right? So it has to be more than one, or can it be a spectacular one?
Should it be one, or it should be more than one.
Why should it be more than one? What if it's a big one, right? The whole set burns down and the studio goes bankrupt.
That could just be a coincidence.
But it could also have cursed the movie. Oh, well, I guess
We
you're
can
right. There
never
has to be
tell.
more than one, and then having burned down the studio, and then they can't finance it, and the movie never gets made.
Right. There has to be,
Well, what about a movie?
cumulative.
Okay, so more than one. What about a movie where everyone dies within 50 years of making the movie?
Absolutely. That is, I would say that would be cursed.
Really? That means that every movie is cursed, because just about
Wait,
every
no,
movie...
okay. After I said that, I was like, you are a trickster. That is terrible. Within 50 years. Okay. How about with
Because every movie, for every movie, we can posit with absolute confidence that every movie, after a certain amount of time, every actor that was involved in that movie is going to die.
well,
If now we're talking about, let's say, every actor of every movie made in 2021 is going to die, if we're talking from the year 2700.
but you can't tell me that we can't make a definition for
No, I'm not. Go ahead, make one.
more than one
Yeah, more than one. All right,
bad
cool.
thing happening on the set,
Yeah.
and it happening to.
Oh, on the set. What happens if it happens afterwards? Because sometimes.
Oh, no, okay. Happening. That's a good point.
So people have these horrible accidents, like Hamill, the Luke Skywalker, who had that horrible accident after Star Wars. Does that make Star Wars? Well, if it's only him having that terrible accident,
And it has to. Yeah, I was gonna say
that fails our more than one rule.
it has to
Even though it's
impact
tragic.
more than one individual. Like not more than one.
Or can it impact one individual more than once? So first I'm in a horrible motorcycle accident, and then I get bitten by a brown recluse and nearly lose an arm.
Yeah. I mean, that would.
Yeah, so then the movie, but I guess it'd be a little different. Then the movie would be cursed for him, but the movie entirely may not be cursed.
You're right.
Okay,
Right.
so we have to just say, another distinction between a movie that's cursed,
An entirely cursed movie.
right, and a movie that turned out to be a curse to a particular individual for whom bad things keep happening after they come in contact.
And you'd have
with
to
that
understand
movie.
why. Why?
Well, but no, if you understood why, then we don't have to worry about curse, because we can do the curses like this this thing that exists beyond explanation. It's, you know, the spirits or the lack of spirits or some kind of algorithm that we're either not in control of or you know, whatever. All right, so we got that far. What else do we need for curse?
So happens, okay, so if it happens to more than one individual, to two people,
So it's got to be two.
it can be two.
It can be as little as two.
as little as two people.
Okay.
Um,
And it's got to happen to them within some fairly close proximity of time to their connection to the movie.
exactly.
Okay.
And that proximity of time, what is close?
I don't know. Certainly, well, we've all agreed that 50 years is not close. So
That is not close. How about within a year?
you're making the definition. All right, a year. That's kind of tough. But okay, let's do the year. So within a year, from the time that they agreed to the movie until a year after. It's
All
done.
right, no. Hold up. How long does it take to make a movie?
That depends on the movie. It depends on the.
What is the
ego,
average? What
budget.
is the average
No
length?
idea.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
You know, probably from a really quickie would be a couple months, and
Ooh,
then
a
some of these
quickie.
will take a while. But why does it matter
Average-
to your? Why does it matter for your curse definition?
I'm trying to do this right, okay?
There's no such thing as
average
right. Right
time.
is the rationalized assertion of will. What do you care?
Average
You have to
time
just sound
to make a
authoritative.
movie,
Where in the US?
309 days.
Well, now you're
309.
being
Okay, so
US
a year.
centric. So
A
what
year.
happens? Wait, what happens if we are in, let's say, in Thailand, the average is 3 weeks. So now all of a sudden you've now made.
I
your
still go
curse
with a year. I still
Sorry.
go with a year
because
because
you're Amerocentric, huh?
I still think a year is a good amount of time to give for any curse
All
to
right, it's
flow
your
through the
definition.
ether.
It's your definition. We'll find some PhDs sometime to then poke holes in your definition, but that's assuming. that
You
people
wanted
like
to
it.
poke holes right now. I
No,
got
I'm
you
just
got your little
practicing.
punches in. I got it.
Just practicing. All right. So more than one person, or one person multiple times within a year. Go
Mhm.
ahead. What else do you need for cursed?
What else do you need it to be for cursed?
Well, it has to be really juicy, right? It's the quality of the bad thing happening. It's got to be either weird or unexpected or horribly ironic or terribly fatal.
What is there anything other than terribly fatal? Is there something
Sure,
like
it could be benignly fatal too, I guess.
fabulously fatal?
Yeah, you
I
can
guess.
do that.
Like,
Well, we're using, I mean, if you think about it, we're using all these words that have no meaning. We're now ascribing meaning to them, and we're trying to essentially create an equation around that so that we can feel less bad about this thing that is otherwise just, you know, this
what's so funny
irrational.
about it? We do that about, I mean, with everything.
Now you're getting to our point. You're jumping the gun to our point, which is the whole point of talking about this, the notion of the curse. Unless, of course, we're going to curse ourselves by doing this and then enraging the gods or whoever it is who's in charge of curses for having been presumptuous enough to have this cheeky conversation.
Well, I challenge.
No,
them
don't do that. Nothing happened.
to a curse war.
Oh my God. All right. So we've got all of that, and we're trying to make the irrational rational. What else do we need? Because we all kind of would be amenable, and everyone looks at, surely not everyone, but a whole lot of people will look at these. I myself constantly succumb to the clickbait, the cursed movie or the cursed food or
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. So what beyond those kind of mundane things, what else now elevates it from just some random bad luck to a curse?
A sense that the events are somehow interconnected.
The interconnection. Oh, so there's a hand in this.
by some, overarching power
Power or logic or
or
person
logic
or
or
entity
algorithm.
or- Oh my God, yes. Oh, that would be funny if in fact it was the algorithm, our demon alien algorithm overlord.
Yeah,
That
we're
would be-
actually in a matrix.
Oh no, don't. Now you cursed us. Please, not so banal. Not in a matrix.
Oh, but no.
No, because then we'd have to deal with that dreary architect and the even more dreary other stock characters from a bad version of an Ibsen play.
Yeah, well.
Let's do something, although I love those movies, but let's do something a little better. But anyway, if we're gonna do this, but let's continue to tease out your definition of curse. What else do we need?
I think we got it.
No, well, how about if we add one other thing? How about if we add
How
one
about
other
you
thing?
shut off your phone?
No, I gotta do that. I don't know. I don't get it. But that was good. Now the question is, has that cursed our podcast?
No, yes. Obviously, our podcast has been cursed because
Well,
of that.
why? Well, wait a minute. That was just randomly silly. Doesn't it have to have some terrible thing? Like if the phone had rung and someone had said something like, there's a flood coming to destroy your house.
No, I mean, if we were real professional people and we cared about the quality of our podcast, yes, that would
We
be
do, but how
almost
do you know
like
that
a
wasn't planned? But how do you know that wasn't planned?
that would have been like the flood, okay? That ruined our podcast, Dad.
But it did
Ruined
ruin
it.
our podcast. It gave us another 5 minutes of inane conversation. But I want to get back to our curse. What activates this? Because it's like, in a sense, really, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. We're talking about religion. We're talking about algorithms. We're talking about the coercive power, the externally applied and kind of internalized coercive power of logic systems.
The trigger
All
for the
this-
curse? You want the
No,
trigger for the curse?
what the thing that not just binds it, because you're right, we're talking about how it's binding, there's got to be some interlinking, but what moves it from just a random, even if interconnected series of sad events to a curse?
Public opinion?
Oh, now that's interesting, isn't it? What do you mean by public opinion?
I mean, it really wouldn't have
Is
been
it
a
public
curse.
opinion or suggestion? A
Suggestion.
conclusion, a
It
conclusion.
it wouldn't have been called a curse unless somebody said it.
We
Unless
just said it. Yay. So we have the power to curse. Oh my goodness. But isn't that so? We've all got the power to curse.
we cursed the movie.
But then again, what does that mean about what a curse is? It's an interpretation. It is an
We're
interpretation.
infusing meaning.
But right. But if you curse someone, then that would be something like the invocation of predictive analytics based on a set of assumptions, of triggering assumptions, which everyone now shares. So if I were to curse you, I would have invoked effectively the logic of the curse to predict that given the trigger, whatever taboo you broke, will inevitably produce some interconnected set of negatives, right? So cursing can be both predictive analytics, but a curse can also be the way in which you can look back on events that have already occurred and then analyze or extract meaning from them in the sense of, oh, either taboos have been broken and these are things that we're going to avoid. And to some extent, we already see that on Rust, right? Because now everyone is running around saying, wow, for the last 100 years, we've been unbelievably stupid. We have cursed ourselves
Yes.
by bringing live guns, real guns and live ammunitions. And now we're going to avoid that trigger. We use the language of curse, right? And Russ hasn't, you're right, it hasn't been a curse movie yet, but I think it's a great candidate for it.
Which is interesting because we used to call certain illnesses curses.
Curses.
That
That's
person
right.
is cursed. That person
That's
is cursed with typhoid, but we didn't know it was typhoid.
And even worse, disabilities would
Right.
be viewed as the curse, the manifestation of the curse on a woman or a man or both who having done something, right? And so the family is cursed, and then the manifestation of it. So that's what we're talking about. It's the manifestation of these triggers, and either the predictions or the consequences of the taboo. It's a curse really is only active. It's activated by the thing you've done, but it's really only manifested when bad things happen.
Right. So it just takes us to the end of the podcast to figure out what we're talking about.
Well, thank God you wouldn't want to do this in the middle. That would have been a real curse. So we have to come up with a series of curse movies. But if you think about it, maybe the exercise that we've done isn't just about cursed movies and the difficulties and yet the real sense that we all know what we're talking about when we're talking about curses, and to some extent it's transcultural, but that the exercise of it actually is fundamental to the way in which we tend to judge virtually everything in our society.
Right. Yeah.
So now we're really cursed.
Well, of course, we do it to ourselves.
Oh, that's right. All right. Anything else? And thank you for the definition. Now I'm going to run around and see if I can figure out what is curse and what is not.
Yeah, I think we've cursed ourselves enough this evening.
All right. Well then, until our next podcast, say goodbye, Ariana.
Goodbye.